in my opinion, I think a band can use a publicist at the very get-go. I think it really is about promoting the artist and building a solid foundation of media attention at whatever level they're at. Now, there's publicists out there that only work with A-list major label clients that basically don't work that level. Now, on the other focus of that, you have the independent artist that these particular publicists cannot work with because they're at a much higher level. It's kind of like being on a different playing field. At this level, these artists are just as important to a person like myself to get them to that level so then they can be picked up and move onward. I think any time is a good time to hire somebody that's going to build awareness on you as an artist. And if that band has a publicist that focuses on their niche and building awareness in their field, in other words, getting it to the people that are going to do something with it rather than the ones that aren't capable, then you're going to have more success building up that foundation and then building onward and upward from it. So it's two different levels, really. You have your publicist that works A-list clients, and then you have your other publicists that work indie artists, and they kind of move like this, basically. It normally comes down to referrals. Usually you don't just pick anybody out of the hat and say, I'll work with that guy. It comes down to who they know, what they know, who knows them, and how they know them. This is how I look at it. It's always good to get referrals. It's always good to go on like the Musician's Atlas. There's publications that will list publicity firms, and that's one way to do it because that's in itself a reference because it's not an advertisement, so to speak. Online is another good way. Or if you relate to a certain artist, if that particular PR person has worked in that genre, that's good. I don't necessarily recommend working with a PR firm that works with big bands and you think you're going to get the connection with the big bands because the publicist works with them. Because 9 times out of 10, that publicist is going to be too busy working with the big bands to give you any attention. So that's a big thing where artists think, oh, hey, he's working with Marilyn Manson, so I'm going to go ahead and hire him. Well, it turns out that all of his time is with Marilyn Manson, and yeah, I'll take you on, but where does the time come to promote you? So it really has to be a nice fit. It has to come down to a fit. Well, in our case, it's different because we work under budget concerns. So we're dealing with artists that have, whatever their budget is, we're trying to budget it out within a 3 to 6 month period. But a typical campaign starts usually between $1,500 and $4,500 a month, usually on a minimum 3-month retainer. So that would be your A-list major label type spending structure, basically. But we as Maelstrom PR work much lower than that. We're working with artists that we just keep the budget in mind. And at that point, we say, okay, well, let's work with it. And our goal is to get, again, as much positive media attention as we can without gouging them, is what I call it, but within staying their budget concerns, basically. Expectation level. You got to make sure that you're both clear on what it is that you're looking for, and of course the vibe that you have with them. If you get along with them and everything works out and you're all on the same page, that's important. I would say that those are the main factors. You want to have 100% trust in who it is that you're working with before you do anything, really. Because if you don't know the person or they don't know you and you start a relationship, you could be on 2 different levels, and no one's going to be happy with that. So you want to have good communication with the client or with the publicist, and you also want to have a nice solid foundation of trust going into it. That way there's no questions, you know what you're working on the same page, everyone's doing the same thing, and there's no, everyone knows their expectation levels and what we're trying to do together to make it happen, rather than pulling your, coming together.